Welcome to this video where we're going to cover what you need in order to make websites using this course. Right. First of all, pretty simply, you need a computer. Okay. Ideally one from the last couple of years so that it's not too laggy. But if you've got a computer that you can reliably access the internet on that works, you'll be able to use it. Okay. I use a Mac. I will do my best to remember that everyone uses a Mac. And if I mention keyboard shortcuts or any kind of internal program or like that, I will tell you what the Windows equivalent of it is. But I'm a designer, and designers generally are quite pretentious and like Macs because I have an iPhone and I have an Apple Watch and all that stuff. And once you fall into it, you fall into this big pool of needing computers from Apple so that it all speaks to each other. But you can do it on a 200 quid website. No, you can't. You can do it on a 200 quid laptop from Argos, right? If that's what you've got, it doesn't matter. As long as you can access the internet and it is pretty quick and you can save stuff on the computer, jobs are good. You don't need high powered, really expensive computers. What you do need is two screens. On my setup, which I'll show you a picture of, I have two screens and I can do one thing on one screen and something on the other screen at the same time. So if I'm looking at what's going on there, I can refer to what's going on here. You're going to need to be able to watch me and work at the same time. And that ain't easy if you've only got one screen. The good news is I can just be on your phone. You can just pop me, access the website and watch me through your phone, and then you've got the computer free. Ideally, get two monitors, but you don't need to. You don't need to upfront pay for two monitors. It would just make your life easier. But you do need two screens. One of them can be your phone, your iPad, your mate's laptop, whatever. I don't care. As long as you can see my video of what you should be doing and you can see your screen of what you are doing, jobs are good. Okay. Everything else is merely a bonus. On this computer, you're going to need a decent web browser. I would recommend, had we made this video 2 months ago, I'd recommend using Chrome. Currently, I recommend using one called Arc, A-R-C. I will share my link down below of where you can download it. It's free, it works on Mac and Windows. It's a much nicer browsing experience once you get used to it. I will cover this in a later video, but basically the joy of Arc is that rather than taking up a lot of the top of your screen with the links, they all go on the left, meaning you've got the full height of your screen. And the more you get into web development, the more you realize how handy that. Chrome will work. Firefox will work. It'll be a bit different at certain stages. If I'm saying right click and do this, it might not work if you're in Firefox. But please download, if you don't have Chrome, download it, or download Arc would be even better, but people have heard of Chrome. And make sure you've got Arc as a browser. If you don't want to download that, make sure you've got Chrome as a browser because you're going to need them to do this properly. What is included in this course is all of the software that you are going to need in order to make this happen. Okay. I've included the latest version of the 4 main things you're going to need that are paid for as a link you can download below. It's a zip file and it will include the latest versions of all of these pieces of software. Okay. WordPress itself is free. The tool that we're going to use to build the WordPress website for the time being is called Local, and that's free. The tools that we're going to use to build the site itself are not free. Okay. I've already bought them and therefore I can give them to you for you to build this site. But moving forwards, you will need to buy your own licenses for all these products. Okay. Again, I'm going to give you all the links down below that you need in order to buy them. Some of them are affiliate links. And what that means is if you buy it through that link, I might get a backhander and make a bit of money. If you'd rather not do that, feel free to just go and Google the product and buy it anywhere that you want and cut me out of it. It's fine. But if I can get an extra bit of money out of it so that I could, get the shed re-roofed or something, I'm going to do it. You don't have to do it. But at some point, for security purposes and best practice purposes and just, being nice purposes, but it's mostly the first two, you're going to need to buy licenses for the software. With that license key, you will then activate it. It means you will get updates in the future, and the majority of updates that come through from these kind of software options are security updates. So they're vital to the upkeep and running of your website once it is launched. They're not hugely vital at this stage, which is why I'm giving you the programs, and you're going to learn how to use them, understand the benefit of them. And then again, at the end, I will say, go and buy the licenses and let's sort this out. You're looking about, for these ones, it's not going to be a huge amount. It's like a couple $100 a year. Okay. But when you compare that to the fact that most web designers force you to sign up for a monthly maintenance package or something like that, that's covering your share of their licenses. Okay. And they tend to be, anywhere from about 70 to over £100 a month for a web design agency. maintenance fee. So you will have cleared that in the first couple of months by owning your own licenses, and then you have complete ownership of your website. I can't stress that enough. No one can take it away from you. No one can turn it off. Well, hackers can, but they can do that to anything. I mean, the whole world was grounded a couple of days ago because crowdfund, whatever it was, meant tits up. That can't be avoided. But if you own your own licenses and you own your own website and you've got your own hosting, which again we're going to sort out later on, you are the absolute master of your own destiny. Okay, so for now you will have the programs that you need, which at the time of recording the intro, I might find I've added something as we go along when I think, no, I really need that. But for now, I think you're going to need Bricks Builder, which is the tool that we're going to use to actually like manipulate WordPress the way that we want it to and actually build pages and things. A program called Automatic CSS, which is going to give us style control over everything. WP Codebox, which means that when the time comes, and it will come further down the road, don't panic, but there will be some coding that you need to do to make everything work seamlessly. But by the time we get to that point, you're going to be fine with it because baby steps, and I'll have held your hand all the way through. And the fourth one that you're going to need is something called MetaBox. And WS Forms. Okay, so there are five things that if no one expects a Spanish Inquisition, right? The MetaBox is a tool that you use to create. How do I explain? They're called custom post types. We're going to cover this. Basically, custom post types are the content management system within WordPress. Okay, so rather than just whacking everything as a page, we're going to create a post type of testimonials or a post type of staff members, so that if you wanted to add a testimonial, you'll know where to add it. Okay, so MetaBox is the tool that allows us to do that. And then the fifth one is WS Forms. And WS Forms is the contact form plugin that we're going to use. The free version is more than enough for most users. We are going to cover something that is in the paid for version as an optional segment, and hopefully you'll see the benefit of getting the paid for one. I will also mention other plugins as we go along that I use that make my life easier, but that aren't required. You can build the site. You can build the site with Bricks, Automatic CSS, WP Codebox, MetaBox, and WS Forms. Arguably that's already overkill, but those five together will combined to make a brilliant website. All right, the licenses for those are not included within this price, but the actual tools they're just unlicensed. But you can buy the license, and I'll remind you later on. The other thing that is not licensed but is included is imagery. So for the dummy website that we're going to build, I have got images off of Adobe stock, and they've still watermarked and everything else. It's no copyright infringement. I'm not claiming I have licenses to use and well, I do. I could get licenses, but I haven't. I'm using the previews. So yeah, the site that we're building is going to have images in it. It's going to have logos in it, but they're not going to be your images from your company. They're not going to be your logo. So at some point, you're going to need to go and source the images yourself anyway. Again, don't panic. We're going to cover all of this. You're going to know how to change them. You're going to think, oh, it's fine. He's got a new image and pop it in there. Jobs are good. It's not scary once you know what's going on. Don't panic. But for now, while it is a bit scary, let's be honest, you've got images, okay? It's not your images, but they are images. They're not mine either. But we're going to whack them in as we're going along and like, oh, we're going to pop an image in here and learn how that works. I've given you those images, but you're going to need to replace them. But for the purposes of building this example, before you then reskin it for your own company or start again from scratch, you've got images. You've got a logo. You've got the programs that you're going to need, and it's all downloadable from the zip folder down there. Okay. Like I say, I will keep it up to date. The latest version of the plugins will be available when you launch. And ultimately, you're going to need to buy your own photos or hire a photographer, and you're going to need to put your own logo on it. I'm assuming you've got a logo. If you don't have a logo, there is another course I do. You could quickly Google how to make a logo, but there is another course I offer, which will be recorded shortly after this one, of graphic design. So everything you need for your business to make a logo, to make business cards, flyers, ebooks, everything across Adobe systems for digital branding. So if you want to learn more about that, I'll talk about that later on. But for now, you have a logo to use, you have images to use, you have the software to use, and pretty soon you're going to have the knowledge to use as well. Okay, so please download the zip file that's under here, and that will give you all the stuff that you need. Just download it and save it, and we'll refer back to that folder. So don't lose it. Remember where you saved it. And that's all I ask, because you save it onto the computer that you're going to use to do this course.